JBS's The Jake Ehrenreich Show is brought to you in part by Stephanie and Simon Bergson, Helene and Barry Lewis, Judy Friedman and Ron Goldstock in honor of Hyas, Jonathan Fershpan, the memory of Nadia and Milton Bergson, Nira and Ken Abramowitz, Cynthia and Jeffrey Weisenfeld, and by viewers like you.
Live from the Triad Theater in New York City, it's the Jake Ehrenreich Show. Tonight, Jake's guests are Ian Finkel and Elliot Finkel, comedian Mike Fine, and a very special Catskills Hall of Fame induction to Five-ish Finkel. And now, please welcome your host, direct from Brooklyn, New York, Jake Ehrenreich!
This is great! This is unbelievable! What a nice audience we got here. Come on, let's hear it. Hear it for yourself. Oh, my goodness gracious. Are you kidding? What could be better? Music, comedy, lots of Jews. My name is Jake Ehrenreich. I began my career in the Catskill Mountains as a young musician, and I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. My parents, not so much. They were born and raised in Włocławek, Poland. They came to this country in 1949 with my two sisters already in tow. My sister Yochevet, also known as Joni, and my sister Golda, also known as Wanda. Don't ask. When they came here, they lived on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. This was the center of the immigrant world for everyone, not just Jews. They actually lived in a homeless shelter on Lafayette Street that was run by an organization called the Hayas, the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society. My father attended night school to learn to speak English. I heard the stories about my dad. It seems he was brilliant, a wonderful student. The teachers begged him, "Young man, you should stay in school. Become something." No. My father chose a different direction in life. Yet he joined the Colombo crime family. If you have a better explanation for this photograph, I'll be happy to take it. That's the best I could come up with. Now, of course, my father would have loved to stay in school, but he had two young children and a wife to support. He felt like he needed to go out and find a job, which he did. He found work as an upholsterer. At the end of his first day, the foreman told him he had to let him go. My father said, "But I'm doing my best." The foreman said, "Look, buddy, your best is not good enough." I remember hearing that story from my mom when I was a boy. It broke my heart. You know what? It needn't have. My father and those immigrants like him that came to this country of all stripes, they were pretty tough, not so easily dissuaded. As it turns out, my dad and another Holocaust survivor named Aaron Katz, they ultimately built a successful furniture business of their own. The Gem Upholstery and Decorating Company on Rockaway Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. You know, I always laugh when I see this card. So I was doing a performance in New York City, right? And this card came up on the screen. A guy yells out from the back of the audience. He says, "Wait a minute, that's your father? I know your father. Oh, yeah, Baruch, we bought a beautiful sofa at the store." Right in the middle. People are laughing. I'm laughing too. I said, "Wow, what a coincidence. That is unbelievable. You still have the sofa?" He says, No, but I don't have that wife anymore either." Everybody's a comedian, but I got to tell you, it bugged me because I'm thinking, wait a minute. My father made excellent custom-made furniture. No kidding. I still have furniture from my father's store. Why doesn't this man still have his fakakta sofa? Then the unthinkable crept into my mind. Did this man not put plastic slipcovers on his furniture? Plastic slipcovers? Are you kidding me? Who invented this thing? The Marquis de Sade? This was like torture. How do you explain to a young person what plastic slip? Sweetheart, picture like a July day. It's 100 degrees outside. You're wearing shorts. You sit down on plastic slipcovers, you're not getting up. They have to get the jaws of life to get you up. It's great. No, you know what? Picture like a condom for a couch. It's like a couch condom. That's it. All right, folks, we got a great show for you tonight. Ian and Elliot Finkel are here, and Mike Fine. Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me, my lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing. Somewhere beyond the sea, she's there watching for me. If I could fly like birds on high, then straight to her arms I'd go sailing. We'll be right back. It's far beyond the stars, it's near beyond the moon.
If you care about Israel and are interested in Jewish life today, there's television just right for you. JBS, the Jewish Broadcasting Service, with daily news from Israel and analysis by the leading figures on the world Jewish scene. Evenings from the 92nd Street Y, a weekly Jewish film festival, Jewish culture, Jewish studies, and Jewish entertainment, and live Friday night services every week, as well as high holiday and festival services. JBS, television worth watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our lovely announcer and our in-house Brooklyn hipster, Brianne Berkson. Oh, why not? What the heck?
We can hug.
Yeah, we can hug.
We may be from Brooklyn, but we still hug.
Oh, Brooklynites are the biggest huggers.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're going to ask you to introduce our first guest.
Yes.
But before we do that, I just want to tell everybody about the song that I sang in the first segment. So we always do a song written by a Jewish composer. The song we just did was called Beyond the Sea. It was made famous by Bobby Darin, and it was written by a guy named Jack Lawrence. Yeah, Jack Lawrence, like my name is Moshe Pipik. Jacob Louis Schwartz. Great songwriter. He's in the Songwriters Hall of Fame. He actually wrote Frank Sinatra's first big hit, All or Nothing at All, right? All or Nothing at All, half a love never appeared. You know this song? He wrote that. He was really, really a wonderful, wonderful songwriter. He served in World War II, as many of these songwriters did. When he got out of World War II, he wrote a song called Linda, which went to #1 in the charts. And he wrote it for his attorney's 5-year-old daughter named Linda Eastman. Does anybody know who Linda Eastman is? Yeah. She married Paul McCartney. Right? I mean, not when she was 5, like later, like many years later. She married Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney, right? So for you younger people out there, very little known fact about Paul McCartney. He was with a different group before Wings. So Jack Lawrence, not only was he a great songwriter, he was a great guy. He had a huge art collection, and he donated his art to the Israel Museum in Jerusalem. And I think the best thing about Jack Lawrence, where do you think he's from? Where do you think Jack Lawrence is from?
I'm just going to throw it out there and go for Brooklyn.
Brooklyn! Every great... Are you kidding? He's from Brooklyn. He actually went to Thomas Jefferson High School, where my sister Wanda went. So very, very cool. And everybody's from Brooklyn. You're from Brooklyn,
yes.
Right? I'm from Brooklyn. We're from different Brooklyns, though, right? Look, I'm from Punchball Brooklyn, Stickball Brooklyn, Hit the Penny Brooklyn. Brianne is from I couldn't possibly afford to live there, Brooklyn. Would you like to introduce our first guest?
Sure.
I'm going over to the couch.
Jake's first guest this evening is a frequent guest on TV and radio. He's a stand-up comedian, writer, actor, producer, and an ordained rabbi. He's appeared in feature films, including the award-winning documentary When Jews Were Funny. He's a staff writer for the Friars Club Roasts and a consultant to Robert De Niro in the feature film The Comedian. Please welcome a very funny guy, Mike Fine.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. How about a wonderful hand for Brienne, everybody? That's right. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, in closing, no, that's great. Yes, that's true. I happen to be a rabbi as well as a comedian. You know, I'm just doing this comedy thing till this whole rabbinic thing picks up. And, you know, I actually would have became a Moel, but I just couldn't cut it. So. Too soon? That's not for this guy, that's for sure. That's great. Yes, no, it's definitely is a real treat to be here. You know, I almost didn't make it tonight because, you know, my grandmother, I got a phone call that my grandmother was experiencing severe chest pains, and we thought she was going to have to be rushed to the hospital. It appears she found out I left the house without a coat today. But I think she's going to be okay, though. This is great. I'm glad I was able to make it. You know, I was actually a little disappointed because I did invite, you know, my rabbi to come out today to the tryout, you know, and, you know, he said he respectfully declined. He appreciated the offer, but respectfully declined because he says he doesn't like the language they use at some of these, you know, venues in the city, you know, like cover charge or drink minimum, but I enjoy doing this. This is a lot of fun. You know, I get to travel a lot as a comedian. I just recently came back from performing in the Catskills. You guys remember the Catskills? That's right. I was performing at Kutcher's. You guys remember Kutcher's? That's right. It's beautiful. They just underwent a massive $250 renovation. And it really showed. I remember I went up to the room to shower before the show, and I was about to step into the shower, and it just occurred to me that there's no towels in the room. So I called down to the front desk, and I asked, you know, how about some towels? And they told me they were being used. It was great. You know, yeah, they said they bring them up afterwards, but, yeah. I'm not going to put dirty towels in my suitcase, though. That's, no, but it's great. I also just came back from performing in Israel. I was performing there. It was a lot of fun. Thank you. That's, you could applaud for Israel, our homeland. That's great. But it was, you know, it was crazy flying there, you know, because when I got onto the plane, El Al, you know, there was this Hasidish guy with the payas and everything, you know, straight out of B&H, you know, and, you know, the plane was getting ready to take off, and the guy refused to sit next to this woman there. And, you know, the stewardesses were rushing over to him, and the planes were already delayed like 2 hours, and they were threatening to have him arrested and everything. And then finally the pilot got onto the PA, and he said, sir, if you don't sit next to your wife, you know, just shut up, you know. I'm getting audited now. I'm getting audited by the IRS. Yeah, because they did not believe that last year I made $12,000. So I sent them a clip of my material and got them off my back on that one. That's nice. It's maybe get a little refund this year. It's nice, you know. My best friend now, him and his wife are having a kid. And I asked them, do you guys know what you're having, a boy or a girl? And they said they don't know and they don't care, just as long as it is healthy. And I found that to be kind of an interesting answer, because these are the same people constantly trying to set me up on dates, you know, and when they ask me what I'm looking for now, it's like, you know what, I don't care, just as long as they're healthy, you know, it's boy, girl, you know, it's, you know, just no chronic illnesses, please, you know, that's really all I'm concerned. Hell, I don't even want to see a picture of them. If you have some, recent blood work or something that says Quest Diagnostics on it, that's really the decision maker for me. That's, I tell you that. Yeah, I have to go soon, but I have to get ready. I have yoga in the morning. You don't look like this by not doing exercise. I've gone to yoga. They just opened up this popular yoga studio down the block from me, and they have these people coming in there all day long with their colorful little outfits and their rolled up little mats and everything. And I went in there the other day to, try it out, and I'm in there doing my stretching right there and wearing my tight Lululemon pants. Nice magenta color. And then I get into my little lotus position over there and work my way into downward dog. Yeah. And then about like 20 minutes into it, it actually occurred to me that it wasn't a yoga studio, it was actually a mosque. Well, guys, you've been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being my friend tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Fine. Oh, my goodness.
Thank you.
Grab a seat. Let's sit and talk. You want to know a little more about Mike Fine? Wow, man, that's some really funny stuff going
Yeah, it was. That was a killer set. If you were to look up what the perfect set in the history of doing sets, you could look up Jack Benny, Sid Caesar, nothing compared to that. Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis at the Atlantic City, nothing.
Zero.
They don't cut anything on
Zero.
that.
I love that. And I know you love the old comedians. But so you must have been asked this question 1,000 times. How did you decide to do this for a living? I mean, where did that come from?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. I'll tell you, there's really one answer to that. It's 22 and a half weeks of sobriety. And, it just keeps you going strong. Every day's a blessing now. And I just want to let the viewers at home know this. And I hope I don't embarrass you, but I need to say something that needs to be said. And if it embarrasses you, never invite me back, and then I know my mazel's in place. But here, you, as an individual, not you. You. That's right, you. I'm talking to you. You. When I was going through this whole long, drawn-out trial, I don't need to get into the details or mention the names, and when the whole ADL and the Abe Foxmen were, with the whole protest in front of the club and everything, and the trial, you were there for me. You showed up, you sat there in the gallery in the front row, and I couldn't have asked for anything. You are a loyal friend, and there's not many people in the business that are loyal like Jake Ehrenreich. You. That's right, you.
I know this is going somewhere, right? I know where it's going. But you know what? So here's the thing.
Yes.
So Mike is obviously a very funny guy. But there are other things about Mike that I'm not sure you know. So you know that he's an ordained rabbi, but I don't know if you know that Mike is very involved with the older comedians, especially from the Catskill Mountains and the classic comedians. He just mentioned a couple just then. Tell us what you do, because what you do is amazing.
What I do, you are correct, is beyond amazing.
Now
there are not many people that are able to do what I do. If you were to line up 1 billion people, there's no one could do what I do. Well, I have a gift, but you want to know something? I'm going to tell each and every one of you and all the millions of people watching right now, and I don't care. Someone will translate, So what you do, I can't do. You have a gift. You are a loyal. I don't even know where to begin. But look at your hair. I hope I die and come back to life as your hairbrush. How do you have such great hair?
I'm going to tell you what Mike does.
Okay.
So Mike has an organization that helps older comedians who maybe don't have means, and he helps them. First of all, he became a chaplain and then a rabbi, and he goes and is with them in the hospital when they're sick, and then actually he sometimes pays for their burial, and he was paying out of his own pocket for a few of these comedians for a number of years, and now he has a 501c3 that does this. What's the name of the organization?
It's called the Jewish Burial Fund for the Performing Arts. And let me tell you, there are many performers, you know, when they don't have funds, but when they do have funds, I just go in there and take them. You know, it's amazing. They'll just leave the checkbooks on the counter, and I do a wonderful. I've been friends with so many wonderful comedians, and I'm truly blessed. I was very good friends with the late great Will Jordan, very close with Joe Franklin, Mickey Freeman, Professor Irwin Corey, who I loved dearly, and you know, we
performed at the Friars, all of us.
That's right,
night,
but that's who I am, Jake. That I am such an incredible. I don't even know how there's so many hours in the days to fit in all the work I do. Do you know? I work as a volunteer as well. I do a lot of volunteer work on top of this. And you're asking, how does this guy find the time? This guy's doing it all. He's here at the Triad doing Jake Ehrenreich shows and all. But yes, I do. I work as a volunteer as well for a suicide prevention hotline. And my record's 15 and 32 right now. And really working on those numbers, you know, trying to get that in. But I'm doing great with that. But the people that called, oh my God, they're so annoying. Seriously, this one guy
how annoying are they?
I'm glad I asked that. There's so... One guy that called, I couldn't get him off the phone. You know, he was telling me about how his wife left him and he lost his job. It's like, you know what, just, I'm eating, you know, put it on the note, you know.
Wait a minute.
But no one can do what you do. And the way you do it with such class. You and your beautiful wife, Lisa, has a beautiful brand new baby boy. It's like amazing. Where do you find the time and channel all this energy with brushing all that thick hair of yours? Where do you have the time?
Your hair's looking good, actually.
Thank you.
I was meaning to tell you. It looks really good.
Thank you.
Now, let me ask you something.
You.
Where did you grow up, by the way?
I grew up in Queens, New York, the MS. But I spent most of my time there, and the other half I was growing up in an Indian reservation, the Pequot tribe in Connecticut, and close to Elizabeth Warren's. What?
Where did the comedy come from? Pequot or Queens?
No, it was a combination, mostly from Queens, though. I was very close with my grandfather, who is, very funny guy, and I guess a little bit rubbed off.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So, you're a rabbi.
Yes, I am.
What was your Jewish upbringing?
How did you? I went to yeshiva my whole life.
This is not a joke, right?
This is not. What, the other stuff was a joke? I grew up going to yeshiva.
Which yeshiva?
I went to quite a few of them. I was quite popular. They would actually fight over me, believe it or not. It's no, you take them. No, you take him. You know, that's one of the wonderful things about growing up in Queens. There are so many of them, you know, just bouncing around. So I went to yeshiva growing up, and then I studied in Israel for 2 years, and I came back. I got my smicha. I learned in the Kollel here on the Upper West Side. I'm a fully ordained rabbi, and in case any of you feeling like getting married or you know someone that's about to check out, I'm actually. I just have like an end of summer. We just had a promotion. I was running funeral packages, my platinum wedding funeral packages. I write an original eulogy. I'm not using a template. I'll do, if you want me to show up graveside, I'll even throw a little dirt on, I'll do the whole, just not too much because I have a bad back now. It's a sciatic nerve. But you know what? If we could talk afterwards.
I love that. Are you the guy, there was an old story about a guy had died and he was so terrible. I mean, you couldn't, this was the worst person on earth. And no rabbi wanted to, you probably would have said something. No rabbi wanted to say anything. So they searched and searched, and finally they found a rabbi like 500 miles away. And he said, look, it's not right for someone to not be spoken about after they pass. He said, I'll figure out something to say. So he comes, and everybody's at the funeral. He gets up, he says, his brother was worse. Let me ask you, from your childhood, do you have any photographs? Did you bring any photographs? A bar mitzvah photograph?
Yeah, I think we have something over there.
Shannon, do we have a bar mitzvah photograph?
Oh, there you go. That's, yeah, that's great. I'm actually still living off my savings bonds right now that matured from my bar mitzvah. You know, when I was 13, I became a man, but now that I'm 24, I guess, you know, I could become a woman, I guess, you know. It's now's not exactly the best time to be a man in show business, you know. I don't need to tell you guys.
You're like 45 years old in this picture. That's your what was it? Rosh Hashanah? What are you doing with the show for?
Why are you making? That's actually my J-date profile. That's not my bar mitzvah. That's not my bar mitzvah photo.
Do you have a real bar mitzvah photo?
I think we do have a real.
Ah.
We got a bunch of.
Not my family.
They're not my family either. Those are stand-ins.
These are stand-ins.
Generic.
You can go to the store. You got a bar mitzvah photo family? I'll take it then. Who's who?
The one in the far left is. Who is that? Central Casting Center. The one in the dress was a girl I was seeing. The one in the back is like looks like Seinfeld. No, that's my mom. That's my sister Daniela. That's my uncle Philip. That sexy little beast with the hat, that's me.
Yes.
The guy in the tux, that's my father, allegedly. And that's... and the one on the far right's my sister. And those two on the front there, we just couldn't get them to move. And the photographer said, you know, just go stand behind those two people.
So let me ask you a question. At this age, were you funny?
Not at all. At this age, am I funny? That's...
Now you're funny.
Yeah.
But at that age, not yet.
No, not even close.
What?
No, I couldn't even buy it.
Seriously speaking, when did you think, wow, I'm going to be a comedian? Because I'm curious, you're very, very funny. I mean, this is natural.
No, I really am. You can tell by the audience response and all the millions of viewers at home just, you know, sending, you know, hate mail. No, it turns out when I was 16 years old, I had this epiphany that, you know what, I have this gift, this tremendous power that I'm able to make people laugh on the drop of a dime, you know. I'm able to turn it on and off. Like today, you know, I kept it off, you know, but other nights I could just turn it on. But no, I knew when I was 16 years old, around when I spoke at my great-grandmother's funeral, they needed someone to talk, and I just got up there, you know, I had a whole rider and everything. You know, I was negotiating the stuff for myself back then, you know, but I got the green room and I spoke at my great-grandmother's funeral, and
I got to tell you something.
I got booked at more funerals.
Right. In all seriousness, you're funny, but you're kind. And by the way, tonight, I was fortunate enough.
I can't even begin to tell you how kind.
Shut up! Okay. I was fortunate enough to spend some time with Sid Caesar. And we were at his bedside when he was ill. And he said, work clean. Work clean. You don't have to work dirty. You work clean. You are kind. You are very funny. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me thank Mike Fine for being here. We'll be right back.
You.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome my next two guests, two virtuoso musicians, Ian Finkel and Elliot Finkel. Ian Finkel is widely regarded as the world's greatest xylophone virtuoso. He has appeared and written for such stars as Michael Feinstein, Larry Gatlin, Tito Puente, Sid Caesar, and many more. He is the proud author of 5 books. Elliot Finkel is a classical concert pianist and theater composer who has performed at Carnegie Hall, the Kennedy Center, and the White House. They are brothers, and they are the sons of the late, great Five-ish Finkel. Ladies and gentlemen, with their famous Romanian fantasy, please welcome Ian and Elliot Finkel. Ian Finkel! Elliot Finkel! Wow. When I was growing up as a kid in Brooklyn, I would hear about the Finkel brothers, about Ian Finkel and Elliot Finkel, and what wonderful musicians they are. I was a young drummer in Brooklyn. I've been hearing about you guys for a million years.
Well, we used to play at the Brooklyn Museum. They had a concert hall there.
That's right.
In fact, of our debut, my parents invited all our relatives and all that, but they weren't concert-going people. So we played a very serious concert of Bach,
Stravinsky,
Mozart, Stravinsky, and it was live on QXR radio. And while we're taking a bow, our uncle came right to the mic and said, "Now, boys, why don't you play a cha-cha?"
Well,
our debut.
You come from a comedy showbiz family.
Yes.
How did you decide to go into music instead of sort of following in?
Well, you can't do exactly what your father did, and certainly we were very fortunate. Our dad was one of the greats.
If you don't know, their father was Five-ish Finkel. Great Five-ish Finkel.
So, we know a lot of people. If your father, let's say, was a great opera singer, and you become an opera singer, they're going to compare you. He's not his father, he should sell used cars, all that sort of stuff. So forget about it. So naturally, we didn't go quite, naturally you're in show business. Yeah. We're surrounded by show business. I didn't speak till I was 35. All those old cronies, remember, around the table,
Now, you were...
Could you pass them? They all, I did this show, I did the Bilko show in 1952. They were like, so if you do what your father did, forget about it. If he was great.
Yeah.
Even if he wasn't good, what's the difference?
Yeah, no,
you understand?
Now, but you were around it even besides your dad, because you were in the Catskills, right?
Well, certainly.
Yeah, well, there were hundreds of hotels. We
400 to 600.
Too bad about the Catskills is that nowadays it's no place to be lousy.
Right.
See, back then there were so many hundreds of hotels.
You're telling me there were places to be lousy, and we played every one of them.
Here it didn't work.
Yeah.
And,
no, but that's a longer. That's all gone now. Sorry to say, because they didn't get the gambling in time, and people used to go away as families. You understand? They don't do that anymore. Yeah. The kids go here, and the parents go on cruises and all that sort of stuff.
It's entirely true. But so I wonder. But so my history as a musician in the Catskill Mountains, I started as a kid, and I learned by playing the shows and all the hotels. And all. When I did my first Broadway show on drums, and it was Dance and Bob Fosse's show, and they gave me the music, I said, What's the trick?
Would you expect to talk over? It's a Broadway show. You got to rehearse.
Yeah, but it was all written out,
Of course
right?
It's
there was no crossing out.
Oh,
there was
no,
coffee stains. There was no cut when the comedian grabs the monkey's balls. There was like nothing.
That's
it was all
a legit
like normal.
show. Yeah.
So how did you, if you were in that environment, how did you become classical musicians?
Well, no. We became musicians. We studied all kinds of music. All music is good. We studied everything.
But the whole show business part that really lured us. I mean, in Catskills, for instance, twice a year, remember, they had a union called the American Guild of Variety Artists, AGVA.
Yeah, sure.
And they did 2 benefits a year. They'd take a hotel. We would show up, my father, my mother, and the 2 of us, about 7 o'clock. And every entertainer had to perform that night, and that was in the area. So we would sit from 7 o'clock to 4 in the morning, and we saw everybody.
We were lucky. Listen,
we got to see everybody.
When you're kids, and your parents drag you, I don't want to go to, I'd rather watch TV or play baseball, whatever it is. But now we're grateful because we got to see all those wonderful acts. Oh,
we were talking earlier about it a little bit. But when you were kids, was your father already successful enough so that you didn't go?
No, he struggled. He
didn't get successful till he was, what? Yeah. How old would you say?
Well, until he left the
mountain. He has a better memory than I do.
Fiddler on the Roof was his first show. He was 43. His last summer in the Catskills, he was 42.
Yeah.
So when you went to the Catskills, did you go to bungalow cons or did you go to
hotels?
We did both.
Well, at the beginning, Dad was what they had called a social director. It's like a cruise director.
A tumbler.
Tumbler.
Well,
And you had-
Tumbler, it
but
jumps
he-
in the swimming pool with a fur coat on.
But they had separate tumblers.
He
They
was
called
the
them-
MC of the show and
they
a
called
social
them porch
director. That's a little
comedians
different.
back then. You were funny on the porch.
Yeah.
You could, and Dad was an MC, but then he would do other hotels, and there were so many of them. I recall. There were so many hotels back then that during the day, I loved to go with Dad. We would drive to wherever he was going to appear at night.
That was his rehearsal, to
and then
drive
find
to the
out where
place,
it is
you know?
because of dark roads at night. And there was this agency called Einhorn and Toter Agency, you see. And they had all the lesser, like Charlie Rapp, this agency had the great hotels. They had and they had so many hotels and so many acts. I remember they had a hat in the office with a blackboard of all these places, and basically they throw the names at the places, and wherever it landed, you appeared. And one day I was with Dad, and I remember we pull into a place, he couldn't find the place. And he called the agent, I can't find the place. Where are you? I'm at this, we handle it too, just stay there. It didn't matter.
And he worked in that place. That's how many hotels there were. It's really sad that the jungle, so to speak, swallowed it all up. There's nothing up there.
There's a great story. You guys, we spoke earlier. You know Arnold Graham, right? You knew his dad.
Yeah.
Very popular agent. And one of the acts got arrested. He was supposed to play one of the big hotels, like the Concord or Kutcher's or something. And Arnold called the cops. He said, look, this guy's got to go headline. He said, what are you talking about? He was drunk driving. You know, we got him. He made a deal where Arnold went to jail. He said, I'll go and sit in the jail. Let him just go for 2 hours. That's true. It's a great Arnold Graham story.
It's all kinds of stories like that,
I love that. Now, do you feel, so I'm an entertainer, right?
Yes.
My son is now 20 years old.
Yes.
But when he was younger, I was always a little bit concerned of him being sort of in my shadow as a kid. Now you're adults and you're very accomplished in your own right. But when you were a kid, did you feel like, were you proud of your dad? Well, this is great.
Of course you're proud of your dad. Of course.
That's great. That's the way I hope.
First of all, he was an inspiration. Number one, he was never negative. He had his struggling years when we were young, but he was never negative. He thought about acting and comedy from the moment when we were kids to his very last breath. In fact, he almost made 94. He worked, his last movie was 2 weeks prior. We had him booked in theaters till he was 96.
He still had a whole bunch of jobs left to go.
And he thought about...
Did you go? Did you go?
We traveled as a family. We were like the Jewish trap family. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
We toured and we played theater. We played Broadway twice.
Yeah.
And we had a great time, you know, and he loved to work. And what was great growing older as an actor is he loved learning lines. He prided himself on knowing his lines and getting on the set, you know. And,
well, as you know, I was very fortunate to know your dad. He was.
Oh, he had he loved show business.
And by the way, when we were kids, there was a classical element in the Catskills. For instance, the Concord Hotel had their own symphony orchestra.
Every week they had a concert.
They had their own symphony orchestra. We used to go to concerts.
Even later on, I played with Sasha Tormo.
Well,
we're talking classical music now, not the Hot Canary.
Right, the Hot Canary, that's what it was.
Yeah. But our dad, you could not say to him, we're going to play. He said, never say that, you're going to work.
Yes, an engagement is not a job.
It's not a job, you understand?
And you might recall the
Concord... Don't say play.
Concord Hotel, our last appearance as a family was in 1996. He won the Emmy. They brought us to the Concord. And it was a nice, like, homecoming for him. Finally, he saw his name on the highway, and I remember that Billy Vine, who was a stage manager, said, "You guys were great. You were a one-door act." And my father looked and said, "What do you mean a one? Well, we have 4 doors in the back, and when people stink, we have to open up all 4 doors."
Yeah.
But you were a one-door act. You were great.
We played there, only one door. We played there. I think all 4 doors opened up. But it was a guy, he had to run to the men's room.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me thank my wonderful guests, 2 fabulous musicians, Ian Finkel and Elliot Finkel, who I love dearly.
Stick around. We'll be right back after the break with a very special Celebrity Catskills Hall of Fame induction.
Want to know what programs will be on JBS in the coming week? Then sign up for the JBS Sunday email, which highlights future JBS programming and gives you the JBS weekly schedule, which you can print out and refer to throughout the week. And it's so simple to do. Just visit our new JBS website at jbstv.org and click on Newsletter Sign Up and fill in your name and email address. And every Sunday morning you'll receive an email with JBS programming information. JBS, expanding Jewish understanding, celebrating all things Jewish.
The heyday of the Catskill Mountains was truly a magical era. Just 100 miles from New York City, the resort area boasted the world's most famous entertainers, athletes, musicians, and of course, hotel owners. It was where Jewish comedy became American comedy, and for decades, it was a haven for Jewish families, including many Holocaust survivor families like my own, where they can go and let their hair down for a couple of weeks. The Catskills Hall of Fame honors the men and women who gave us so much and who helped shape American culture. Our honoree for this evening is Fivish Finkel. Philip Fivish Finkel was born on October 9th, 1922 in Brownsville, Brooklyn. The third of four sons of Jewish immigrants from Eastern Europe. He was a star of Yiddish theater from the time he was just a boy, 9 years old. And he made his Broadway debut in the 1964 production of Fiddler on the Roof. And in 1981, he took over the role of Tevye in the national touring production. Fivish went on to appear on TV in shows ranging from the Hollywood Squares to The Simpsons to Boston Public, and in movies such as Brighton Beach Memoirs, A Serious Man, and Nixon. He's the winner of an American Comedy Award and an Obie Award, but is probably best known for his Emmy Award-winning role as lawyer Douglas Wambaugh in the TV series Picket Fences. Fivish spent many years performing in the Catskill Mountains, which he truly loved. He continued that tradition of comedy and entertainment in shows like his Finkel's Follies. Married to his wife Trudy for 60 years until her passing in 2008, Fivish also had nachas from his two wonderfully talented sons who performed here with us this evening, and with grandchildren and great-grandchildren. I had the immense good fortune of knowing and meeting Fivish Finkel after a performance of mine he attended with Ian in 2004, after which he insisted on calling me Dr. Ehrenreich, which I always treasure. I also had the distinct honor of inducting him into the Brooklyn Jewish Hall of Fame in 2015. Fivish left us in 2016 at the age of 93. Ladies and gentlemen, the Catskills Hall of Fame is proud to induct the indomitable Fivish Finkel. Let's enjoy a little classic Fivish.
My wife and I just parted. I'm back where I started, like a bachelor when I was a kid. But when I started moving, my wife said disapproving, stay right here, it's better, so I did. Oh yeah, hey!
Folks, I always like to leave you with a favorite song of mine. This next song is called Zol Zayin. It was one of my dad's favorites as well. Zol Zayin in Yiddish means what if. And the lyrics of the song say, what if my dreams never come true? What if even my God doesn't exist? As long as I live my life on a happy road, I will have had a successful life. And I love those lyrics because it really says that your attitude in life is more important than the circumstances of your life. So I'd like to sing for you this very beautiful song written by Joseph Papiernikov, Zol Zayin. Zol Zayin, als ich boi in der Luft meine Schlösser. Zol Zayin, als mein Gott ist im Ganzen nicht du. Träum ist mir heller, ein Träum ist mir besser. In Chulm der Himmel ist bläuer von blau. Ein Träum ist mir heller, ein Träum ist mir besser. In Chulm der Himmel ist bläuer von blau. Soll sein, als ich will keinmal zum Ziel nicht erlangen. Soll sein, als mein Schiff, wenn es kommen zum Brei. Ich geh nicht in dem, ich soll haben der Gangen. Ich geh nur einen Gang auf a sonnigen Weg. Ich geh nicht in dem, ich soll haben der Gangen. Ich geh nur einen Gang auf a sonnigen Weg. Soll sein, als ich boi in der Luft meine Schlösser. Soll sein, als mein Gott ist im Ganzen nicht da. Ein Träum ist mir heller, ein Träum ist mir besser. In Chulm der Himmel ist bläuer von blau. Ein Träum ist mir heller, ein Träum ist mir besser. In Chulm der Himmel ist bläuer von blau. Oh, Hi folks, you know, we're often asked where people can get my books or CDs. We've created a very easy way to get them. Simply go to jakeehrenreich.com. Both my CDs are there, A Treasure of Jewish Christmas Songs, which is a tribute to the Jewish songwriters, and Yiddish Unplugged, a compilation of my dad's favorite Yiddish folk songs. Both make excellent gifts. Of course, my first book, A Jew Grows in Brooklyn, is available, which Publishers Weekly called Entertaining Throughout. And there are more items too. So it's very simple. Just go to jakeehrenreich.com, wind up with a book to read, some music to enjoy, or a unique gift for a loved one. Stay well, my friends. I look forward to seeing you. And now back to the show. That's our show. Thanks for being with us. I'd like to thank my guests, Ian Finkel and Elliot Finkel and Mike Fine, of course, Brianne Bergson. Please help me thank our directors, Sloan Copeland, Lisa Ehrenreich, John Bergman, Shannon Epstein, Tristan Burke. Help me thank our hosts here at the beautiful Triad Theater, Tina Martin, and of course, JBS President and Senior Executive Producer, Rabbi Mark Gallo. We'll see you next time.
We would be pleased to send a complimentary DVD of this program to anyone who wishes to support JBS with a tax-deductible gift of $36, double chai or more. Simply visit the JBS website at jbstv.org and click on the Donate button to make a donation by PayPal or your credit card. And please indicate the program for which you would like a DVD. Or you can send your tax-deductible check to JBS, P.O. Box 180, Riverdale Station, Bronx, New York, 10471. And again, please remember to indicate which program you would like to receive with our compliments. And we thank you for your kind support.